Audiences usually forget it, but acting is a job. Each individual role counts as one job, and each role will have a lot of actors either auditioning or being considered for it. And even the most successful and well-known of performers understand the sting of rejection. 10 actors that were rejected from famous roles. We hate rejection too, so before we get started, if you want to see cool vids about movies, TV, gaming, and more, take a second and hit subscribe. Jennifer Lawrence, Twilight. While in 2008, not many people had really heard of Jennifer Lawrence while she was working her way up in the industry, auditioning for roles and garnering notice for her roles in little-seen films such as The Burning Plane. One of the earlier roles she auditioned for was as Bella Swan in Twilight. With the book being a huge financial success and the movie looking to be quite big, there were a lot of women who were auditioning for the lead role. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Jennifer Lawrence, director Catherine Hardwicke felt that it was Kristen Stewart who was best for the role. As a result, Lawrence lost out on the part, along with other actresses such as Lily Cole. In spite of this, Jennifer Lawrence has said that she doesn't regret losing to Kristen Stewart. And given how the Twilight series turned out, yeah, we can understand that. Chris Pratt, G.I. Joe. One of the reasons that Chris Pratt initially turned down the opportunity to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy was because he feared embarrassing himself at the audition. This happened to him when he auditioned for G.I. Joe, where he lost out to Channing Tatum. Something about Chris Pratt's acting style just didn't mesh with G.I. Joe, and Chris Pratt felt humiliated. Since then, Chris Pratt hasn't had much trouble landing action roles, appearing not only in Jurassic World, but also westerns such as The Magnificent Seven and the sequel to the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also rumored to be considered for the next Indiana Jones franchise entry. Ironically, Channing Tatum has been venturing a lot more into comedy since G.I. Joe, which is usually Chris Pratt's forte. Tatum has appeared in both Jump Street films and Hail Caesar. Kurt Russell, Star Wars. There are dozens of names who auditioned for Star Wars, and dozens who auditioned for Han Solo, including Steve Buscemi and even Bill Murray. Kurt Russell was one of those names that was closest to what you'd expect Han Solo to be. Kurt Russell was very young at the time, only in his 20s, and known for Disney teen comedies like The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. He was certainly younger than what Harrison Ford is known as being, but Russell was still good enough to get through to the tape stages of the auditions, which can be viewed on YouTube for free. While the star later played similar roles like Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China and the badass action heroes in films like Escape from New York, unfortunately his audition, while certainly good, just wasn't as good as the work Harrison Ford was putting in as Han Solo in rehearsal takes. While Kurt Russell would have been a good choice for the role, how many people can imagine anyone else playing Han Solo but Harrison Ford? Will Smith, Django Unchained. In a strange situation, Will Smith was rejected from the role of Django Unchained by Quentin Tarantino because Smith felt he wasn't the main character if he didn't kill Leonardo DiCaprio's character at the end of the movie. In Will Smith's mind, he felt that he would be playing a supporting role if he didn't get that opportunity, and as a result, Quentin Tarantino decided that he would rather stick with the story that he wanted to tell and passed Will Smith over for veteran actor and musician Jamie Foxx. With Django Unchained being the most financially and critically successful film of Tarantino's career and received Oscars for screenplay and supporting actor, it seems apparent that while it would have been a nice bonus, Tarantino didn't need Smith's star power to sell the movie. Smith, meanwhile, starred in A Winter's Tale instead. Jim Carrey as Loki and Captain Jack Sparrow. There are a fair few roles that almost starred Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was offered the role of Doctor Who in the 1990s in an attempt to launch a new series, but Carrey turned it down out of respect for the fans of the show, as he felt that it wasn't right for someone who wasn't familiar with the cult classic show to play the lead role. He was also rejected from the roles of both Loki and Captain Jack Sparrow. While it's not unreasonable to think that he could have performed well as both, they certainly would have been vastly different movies. Carrey surely would have made an interesting Loki, given his performance in Kick-Ass 2, but the role went to the excellent Tom Hiddleston. And while his broad comedic style would have made a very different Jack Sparrow, we can't really argue that Johnny Depp was a great choice. Leonardo DiCaprio, American Psycho. At the time American Psycho came out, Leonardo DiCaprio was viewed very differently as he is today. While today he is regarded as one of the best actors around, back in the early 2000s he was groomed by Hollywood as the pretty boy love interest in spite of his Oscar nomination of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. His romantic leading man image was a big part of why he didn't get the role of Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Coming off the huge successes of Romeo and Juliet and Titanic, Leo was typecast as a love interest by this point, and studios felt his career might suffer by playing a psychopathic killer. The role instead went to Christian Bale, a young character actor actor who had attempted stardom in films like Empire of the Sun, Newsies, and Portrait of a Lady. And Leo picked up steam in a wider range of roles eventually though, in movies such as Django Unchained, Wolf of Wall Street, and The Revenant. That pretty boy image is certainly shed. Robin Williams versus Jack Nicholson, The Shining and Batman. Comedic actors often deliver some of the finest dramatic performances in memory. Despite largely being known for comedies, Robin Williams played numerous serious roles in 1 Hour Photo, Law & Order, and Good Will Hunting, often playing dark and unnerving characters. So while it probably sounds unusual at first, Robin Williams was once considered for the role of Jack Torrance in The Shining. Despite this, he was ultimately rejected in the role, with Jack Nicholson replacing him. Not only that, but Nicholson also replaced Williams as the Joker. While Williams was originally wanted for the role, DC decided that they really wanted Jack Nicholson and used Williams' name to convince Nicholson to take the role instead, rather than lose it to another big-name actor. DC would later repeat their actions, with Williams invading him into playing the Riddler in order to convince Jim Carrey to take the role. Robin Williams rejected the role as the Riddler as a result. Robin Williams passed away sadly in 2014, leaving an incredible legacy of both comedic and dramatic work. Jensen Ackles' Captain America. Longtime star of Supernatural, Jensen Ackles came close to capturing the role of Captain America. Unfortunately for him, the role of the first Avenger went to Chris Evans instead. While Ackles' rough-around-the-edge style vaguely had the look you'd expect from the character, it wasn't enough to win out over the guy-next-door looks of Chris Evans, who comparatively resembles the character a lot more. While Ackles, like most TV actors, has had trouble breaking into film, he did bag the role of Jason Todd in the animated adaptation of Under the Red Hood. While it would have been nice for Ackles to play the man with a voice that could command God, it's also cool to see in spite of losing out on the role, he's still having a very successful career in TV. Emma Stone, Heroes. One of Emma Stone's earliest auditions was for the role of Claire Bennett in the TV show Heroes. The popular superhero-themed show ran for 4 seasons in its first inception, but it all started with the pilot episode Genesis, which introduced us to Hayden Panettiere in the role of Claire. Emma Stone said that losing the part to Hayden was pretty tough on her, because she was actually in the room next door when she heard Hayden being told that she got the part and that she was best for the role. Luckily for Stone, only 2 weeks later she got the part in Superbad, and that served as a jumping off point for the rest of her career. Emma Stone later got to be in a superhero movie thanks to the Amazing Spider-Man films, and we doubt she's looked back much since then. Ryan Gosling, The Lovely Bones. While Ryan Gosling is generally considered to be a Hollywood hunk and talented actor, he was actually rejected from the movie The Lovely Bones because he got too fat. While at first Gosling stated that the reason he left was due to creative differences with Peter Jackson and feeling that he was too young to play the role of father of a teenage daughter, Gosling later revealed that it was because he had gotten too fat for the role. As it turns out, both stories are kinda true. Ryan Gosling had actually gotten fat in preparation for the role that he felt the character should be out of shape and scruffy looking. The problem was that Gosling had not told Peter Jackson he was doing this, and Jackson decided that Mark Wahlberg would be a better choice for the role. Shortly after that, Ryan Gosling went back to being a hunk, garnering critical acclaim for his roles in Drive, La La Land, and Blade Runner 2049. What famous rejections have we missed? We know that there are tons more examples we could have talked about. So leave your favorites in the comment section below, and as always, rate, comments, and subscribe to see more.